What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be previewing round 18 Port Adelaide versus Melbourne in Alice Springs this Sunday at 2:50 p.m. It's going to be a massive game in the context of both teams' seasons, with Melbourne looking for a top 4 lock, but probably even top 2 to try and get their season back on track after a loss to Geelong at GMHBA Stadium last week. And Port Adelaide got the job done over GWS by 55 points, but they're in a position now where all or nothing is about to happen against the D's. A win and it very much keeps the finals race alive. A loss very much buries Port Adelaide's chances for real this time. So let's see what this game has to pan out with, and this is my preview of round 18. All up for grabs this week, Port fans. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this week's game. It's going to be a massive one. I'm really much looking forward to it. Melbourne at a Sunday afternoon time slot. Prime time if you're a Sunday footy fan. It's going to be on Channel 7. It's in Alice Springs. And I very much think Port Adelaide have a real opportunity to win this one, purely on the basis of the ground and the different conditions that we may face. We've played in a lot of greasy, wet, cold, damp conditions, dewy conditions of late. And this one's going to be very much a hot, humid, perfect day for footy kind of atmosphere in Alice Springs against the D's outfit, who've been kind of hit and miss of late. I thought they were very much back when they beat Brisbane at the MCG, but they lost to Geelong last week in a very tight, heavy contest on Thursday night, and they've had a 10-day break to really recuperate. And the week before they played Brisbane on the Thursday as well, and they've had a longevity of breaks between. They had a bye the week before, so they are fresh, but it's not so much being fresh that's going to help them. It's more so, I think what's going to help Port Adelaide more so than anything, having the longer breaks really slows momentum. It doesn't so mean, oh yeah, I'm getting back into it in 6 days. Like Port Adelaide obviously have an 8-day break from last week, and the week before we only had a 6-day break, and you saw the turnaround. It's the continuity of football. Once you have your bye and you come back from your bye, you really want to get continuity in your footy and momentum, and really make sure your second half of the season is ticking along, because if it's a lot of stop-start and really, if you're winning one week, you're losing the other, your momentum isn't really there, and you kind of become a little bit lost in the sense of what the season is. And obviously Melbourne have a really good purpose. They have a really strong game, and I think they're obviously going to be one of the teams to beat this year, and they're very much going to come up against a Port Adelaide outfit wanting to fight and wanting to get this season somewhere as we head into the last 6 games. I'm still not taking away anything from Melbourne. They've got a great outfit. They got Gawn and Jackson in the ruck, Petrarca. Oliver is missing, but they've still got Ben Brown up for. They've still got their Stephen May, their Lever outfit down back, and their running machines are so good around the ball that this is something that Port Adelaide are going to have to stop. We saw last week defensively, both teams, Port Adelaide, GWS, were very defensive mindset. Port Adelaide's defence pretty much building a wall, and GWS sort of parked the bus, and it becomes a very defensive game. And Port Adelaide like that. I think the continuity of inside 50s is really going to help, with the freeness that Todd Marshall and Georgiades can have, and the likes of, what else, with Dixon when he's down there, Robbie Gray playing a deeper role. They're going to like that space, and a faster paced game might actually help in that situation. We can see the scoring slowed up last week for Port when GWS parked the bus, whereas against Melbourne it's going to be a little bit more open, and we saw that against the D's back in round 4, where it took us literally 3 days to score a goal. But we opened that up, and we had scoring shots. We had the ability. I think we matched them in scoring shots, 16 apiece that game. And overall, it's going to be who can make the chances in this one. And I think with Port Adelaide's capabilities, and they have been the most form team in the comp of late, we have a chance. We have a big chance. We have a sniff. As I said, in the conditions, and it's going to come down to whether or not Port Adelaide really want to win this game. The start is important. We saw the start against Fremantle, and that set us in good stead, but it's the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter that are going to matter the most. And Port Adelaide's second quarter last week against GWS was a real big improvement in that, and the third quarter was kind of sluggish, and the fourth quarter we sort of opened it up in the end. And it's hard to get a read on Port Adelaide in terms of mentality, and I don't think we really had a full 4-quarter performance. I think we've had a very good 3.5 quarters. The only game that really stands out is Sydney, where we had we might have had a goalless last quarter, but we played with such fight and such aggression and a real mindset that was going to steady us for the whole game. And when you're down a couple of players and really back against the wall of Sydney pressing, to hold on like we did by still 4 goals was absolutely sensational. So with that aspect of our game, Port Adelaide really have to bring that, and it's going to come down to the key aspects of the midfield, and if they really want it, Wines, Rosie leading them from the front, Butters in there, Boak as well. The likes of Houston fronting off half back with Burton, and on the wings with Carl Amon, and I think there's no real change for Port this week. Riley Bonner may come back into the side, and I'll get to selections in a minute, but the run and carry from people are really going to be impressive, and one of those as well is young Jace Bergwijn. I think he's really slotted in nicely and could get the matchup on Cozzy Pickett this week if he's selected, and I wouldn't be dropping Bergwijn at all. I think he deserves to keep his spot this week, and Tom Cleary stays in. I don't think McKenzie comes in either, so I think it all comes down to the ability of Port Adelaide trying to win this game. The big one is Clayton Oliver not playing. I think whilst the ruck stocks, which I'll get to in a second, is crucial, I firmly believe that with Port Adelaide's game and then the way we're trying to move the ball and how we're going inside 50, the likes of Rosie that are dominating in this aspect and hitting up a high half forward kick, or running through the packs, and he's hitting targets up forward whilst also being a target up forward when he's resting there. We saw with the first goal of the game last week. That's absolutely crucial. And what we can't allow from the midfield aspect is Melbourne's midfield to really play that stop, start. They get inside, the forward 50 of their own, or they're defensively moving back well. And we saw Angus Brayshaw. He's continually, being that stoppage player that's intercept marks. He's a real ball winner for them. He's a real mover of the footy. They've still got class in that midfield as well. You've got Viney and you've got Petrarca in there. On the wings, you've got Langdon, and I think the way they move the footy as well is going to be crucial. If we can slow Melbourne down and really keep the impact of their rucks at a minimum, with Finlayson and Dixon. Finlayson's presence around the footy is a lot more than just trying to get the tap. He's a real mover of the ball, and I think his second, third, and fourth efforts can expose Gawn. A little bit harder when he's on Jackson. I think Jackson can do very similar to what Finlayson does. That's why you sort of want to target Dixon and Gawn together. Dixon's physicality and his ball, his contested ball work is real. It's a real positive when it comes to that one-on-one ruck work around the ground. The centre clearances are going to become, they're going to become 50-50. We've got to be smart enough reading the tap of Gawn. We're not going to lose the taps in there, but it's around the ground, the stoppage area, and the contested possessions that are really going to be the fixation of how we win this game and what capabilities we have hitting the scoreboard. I think 14 goals might win us this game. Like that's the kind of mentality that we're going to have. We're going to kick 14, 15 goals and constantly pressurise the Melbourne defence, because I know May, Lever, Hibbard, those likes, they'll hold up, but it's eventually going to break, and it's whether or not Port Adelaide can be strong enough in the contested area around the ground, but also moving forward and inside 50 marks are going to be most crucial on a pretty good day of footy, or what's going to be in Alice Springs. Obviously, no Scott Lysette this week, so no changes I think Port Adelaide will make. I think overall, it's just going to be an unchanged lineup. Bonner might come into the side for one of the key backmen, I guess, and one of the running midfielders. So we'll see how that pans out. Might be a Jackson Mead or someone that moves out of the game and Bonner sort of comes in, but Meady still stays as a sub. So that could be a chance, but overall I don't see much change with Lysette not being able to be available this week with an infection in the shoulder, which is quite weird considering he played footy on the weekend. So I wonder if that's flared up a little bit and just he wasn't quite ready to play footy. In terms of a tip, I'm going to stick with my heart and not my gut. I'm going to tip Port Adelaide. I think we're a sniff. And if we keep believing, if we keep attacking and just trying to make the most of what this season can be, I think Port Adelaide get the job done by 13 points. Unlucky 13 for the Ds. Thank you so much for watching, Port fans. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content coming your way across the rest of the 2022 season. We're on our way to 5,000 subscribers, so make sure you jump on board that bandwagon. I'll be live streaming the game on Sunday, Arvo, so join in on a bit of fun, and I look forward to speaking with you on the game day itself. My name's Anthony, and as always, can't the pair.